Past 8, right. Simon Pound, media commentator, and Kelly Ellis, barrister, join me now on our panel this Monday morning. Morning to you both.
Morning, Paul.
Great
morning.
to have you both in. Right, let's start with what I thought was it was a good policy initiative, but is it enough? The government announcing that they are going to introduce, a change to the point system to weight it in favour of migrants who are prepared to go to the regions. What do you think of that, Kelly?
Well, I think it's a good idea, except there need to be jobs there. So it's all very well sending people to the provinces, but we need jobs, and that needs investment in the provinces. And until we see that, perhaps new migrants coming in will be seen as competition by the locals rather than a blessing.
Yeah. So to get this, and I suppose to a degree some of them are going to be competition, to get this they have to have a job offer already from the regions to get the points on that side. But the other side, and this is where I think they could have gone a lot further, it is giving people a huge point weighting if they are prepared to start businesses and create employment in the regions. Now, to me, they've been given a slight weighting, advantage weighting on that, but wouldn't you go to town on something like that, Simon?
Yeah, well, have they gone far enough? I mean, does it need to be a sliding scale? It's 10 if you're in the urban centres or 30 out, but you might need like 50 to go to certain places, like maybe Invercargill isn't such an exciting place for a new migrant, is it going to be enough?
So you need, all up, you need 100 points. So let's work out what our sliding scale would be. Okay, Kelly, how many points if someone was going to start a business in Huntly?
Well, hey,
500 points.
No. Huntley's going to be the new Riviera.
Well, that's what I thought, but it's going to be a while, Kelly.
You'll be transporting from Auckland. You'll be commuting to work to Huntly.
Yeah,
before
but you're not
long.
allowed to do that if you're going to get points.
How are they going to keep them in there? Will they have put barbed wire up around Palmerston North, or
No, because you don't need barbed wire, razor wire.
Right.
No, you don't coils of razor wire around Huntly. Actually, that might serve dual purposes. No, the reality is you have to stay there. I can't remember how long it is, but they've extended the time out that you have to guarantee you'll stay there. And if you move out of that area and that is found out,
well, the Labour Party kind of
it.
checking if you have a funny surname and seeing if you're in the wrong city.
Yeah, that's right. Labour will be all over that, don't you think? Which would be the area that you'd offer the highest number of points to get someone to go to? What do you reckon, Kelly?
Well, I don't know. Whangarei is a pretty town which needs a lot of help and needs a lot of investment. I don't know if you've been up there recently, Paul, but it looks
actually.
Looks like it's had its teeth knocked out.
It does. And the funny thing about Whangarei, there are many small cities like it. Is Whangarei a city?
It sure
is it a
is.
city?
Yeah.
How many population do you have to be a city? 20,000, is it?
Whangarei's got about 50.
Oh, well, it's well a city then. But the thing about Whangarei is you can tell that it's underutilised, but it's got great resources there. And there are lots of cities in New Zealand that fit into that category, which is why this policy could be maximised to benefit if you maximised it.
Yeah, lots of wonderful places like Wanganui that are a good close trip to Wellington as well, that have got beautiful bones and missing just a bit of industry.
Bones. Come to our city, it's got beautiful bones. All right, witch doctors. The story that we're running with this morning, that gullible people are being forced to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, not forced, but through their gullibility are paying thousands of dollars to witch doctors. Kelly, what do you make of that?
Oh, I wouldn't say they're gullible, Paul. This sounds like a fantastic new income stream for me. There are a variety of ailments around here which I think I could possibly cure. Maserati-itis being one of them, unused boat syndrome being another one.
Oh, God, for me, unused boat syndrome.
I'm willing to pray for you, Paul, but I think there's going to be a lot of prayers required. A quick down payment. I've got a little cup here which you can put some money in. I'll take away and do some prayers and let you know how I'm getting on.
That's the great thing about this, isn't it? Because no one sees you doing the prayers. I mean, and you go back to it didn't work. They go back and say, oh, it didn't work. And they say, oh, I can see the aura now. Of course it didn't work. Things are much more serious than I thought. I'm going to need to pray again.
Some people need more work than others, more prayers than others.
Yeah,
Paul.
and I think there are a few around this desk, actually, Kelly, that fit into that category. Stop looking at me.
At least they're getting a good show. Like, I think that, there's nothing worse than this than there is in psychics or in
now, that's an interesting point.
Boring grey religions who tithe their members and basically promise the same thing, like some eternal goodness for giving over 10% of their income. And they're not such a good show. You don't get the incense. There's not the colourful posters around. There's not the costumes.
And the pots. Do you know how it works? Because like the person that we were talking to today, so she goes in, pays her consultancy fee, and then he says, oh, we need to make 4, I'll have to pray for you 4 times. It's $100 a prayer, and gives her a little pot. And he says, carry this to the bank to get my $400.
Yeah.
And when you come back, all of your troubles will be in the pot and leave it with me. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it's a great gig.
I reckon you could get away with that, Kelly.
Well, I'm sure as a lawyer who already preys upon people's insecurities, you're in a lot of trouble, Paul. Come on, cough up.
You know the great thing about this legally, I mean, how can anyone prove that your troubles weren't in that pot? That's the whole thing. It's bulletproof. All right, our panel is back with more news of the day next. Welcome back. Great to have you with us. It is 28 minutes past 8. Simon Pound and Kelly Ellis are our panel this morning. All right, Kelly, cat cafes. So a crowd-funded Kickstarter campaign hopes to open a cat lounge on Auckland's North Shore in September. The idea is you can go in there for a coffee, or if you want, you can take your cat in and go to an adjacent room which will cater for the cat. I mean, is there a demand for that?
Well, I would have thought that what one did in the privacy of one's own home with one's cat should perhaps remain there. I'm wondering, though, whether the fur will be flying with the neighbours, because a great collection of cats, no doubt, in a
confined
cafe,
area,
and in a busy area. Exactly, there might have Gareth Morgan coming up.
Oh, imagine.
Stalking the streets.
Gareth Morgan goes in for a quiet coffee the next minute. The thing is, though, I can't imagine that obviously these people love cats and they think there's a demand for it, but people do not take their cats out with them. And that, I would have thought, Simon, was a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, well, they're big overseas in Japan and Korea. But
that's a different environment.
Well, it's quite nice that Auckland's getting eccentric enough that we can support one of these. It's quite a nice idea.
It requires... See, it's all very well, I suppose, once you get... I hate cats, by the way. It's all very well once you get to the cafe, but you actually have to reticulate that cat from your house to the cafe.
They've got 15 there that you just turn up and play with.
Now, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? You can bring your own, but if you're reluctant to take your cat, like if your cat's like Miley and she mauls you every time you go and poke her leg like mine does... and yet I am going to go straight home and poke its leg again. You can go there and just, Kelly, enjoy the cats they already have on hand.
Well, I'd imagine they'd charge a corkage.
No, it's just too stupid for words, isn't it? Kelly, Simon, thank you very much for joining us. Right, we'll catch you back again soon. That's the panel for this Monday morning. Right now it's 8.